Hey, what's up, everybody? So, welcome back to another video. So, this video is actually a little bit, I won't say technical, but I'm going to give you some tools today to actually focus on how to move to Costa Rica. And not only move to Costa Rica, but how to do that in 6 months. So, if you saw my other two videos, previous videos, they talked about, first having your why. You really want a why to move over to Costa Rica. And I don't mean why you want to leave your, country. That's the mistake that most people make, And honestly, I made the same mistake. The why I left, from the United States was, oh, I was stressed at my job. And honestly, if I was, truthful to myself, and I'll be truthful to you, I could have fixed some of those things in the United States. But the key difference was I needed to make a reset, a restart. And so I wanted to do that in a place like Costa Rica. I wanted the sun. I spent my years up north in the northeast part of the United States in Columbus, Ohio, mostly, and in a few other states elsewhere. But I wanted someplace warmer that I could afford. And yeah, so Costa Rica actually fit right in. So you definitely want a why of why you want to be in Costa Rica. Realizing that why is going to cause you to, look at different things, have a different perspective, and honestly hone in of, what you really need. And so that affects your budget. So a lot of people stop at the why is I want to be at the beach, and that affects your budget greatly because if you get stuck in a tourist town or a tourist location, yeah, things are going to get pretty expensive. And so what you need to do is if your why was for peace, and then you would like to go to the beach now and then, now you are actually open up an area where you can say, okay, I can move half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour away, whatever it is, because I like these 4 or 5 beaches and it's cheaper over here. I have my shopping needs, not just the beach necessities, but I have everything I need to live on, and it makes it very convenient for me to hop on a bus, Uber, or my car, depending on how you've gotten here, to enjoy, the beach area once a week, a few times a month, whatever it is. And so those are the things that you can do. So now jumping into today's topic, we are going to talk about how you actually do it. Now, there are a lot of different ways that to come to Costa Rica. And what I mean by that is you could actually come over here, try to get a remote job, and I'll talk about that in a second. You can come over here, live on some savings for a period of time, and then get it quite adjusted to maybe you're going to start a business, overseas, and you can do it remotely or things like that, or retirement, and of course, a slew of other different things. I'm going to jump in and show you how I did it. First, I started 100 days out. So, yes, by this time I had already visited Costa Rica, which I do talk about that. Figured out that my home base was going to be in Gracia because it was centralized, and I like the temperature and things like that. And so now I'm at the point where, okay, do I want to work? Now, honestly, I knew I didn't want to work, but I needed to check. I needed to check with my company to say, hey, I'll work for you, maybe not 80 hours a week, because again, it was stressful, maybe 10, 20 or something like that. Would you be able to make some kind of arrangement? And the answer was no. And so I just had to live with that. So the first thing I had was, can I work here off site? And that again, as I put as optional. And I had a house, I had cars, so I needed to determine, when I was going to be ready to sell. So I needed a plan. So honestly, they kind of tell you don't do this, but it worked for me to make a plan to make it a plan. So I needed to make a plan of, getting ready to sell. Create a budget, of course, because I decided, hey, I'm going to live on my savings and I want to spend this much, and this much is going to be, left behind. Again, I don't never if you've never got any budgeting advice, don't spend down to zero. So this was the limit that I was going to spend. So I needed to create a budget and how I was going to live and what I was going to be able to do. And again, my other video, I'll put the link in, but the other video talked about don't just make a budget for your house and your food. Make a budget so that you can enjoy Costa Rica. That was one of the mistakes that I slipped on a little bit. I thought it was in there, but it wasn't enough. Honestly, I kept it too low, being too generous with the savings. And so I always had stress, even though I did manage to get around. I always had stress every time it was time to go out to eat or to go to a beach or go to a hotel on the other side of Costa Rica. I researched the places that I like to live. Again, I did that prior, so that was an easy check mark. I renewed, and I recommend you renew and extend your passports. It's just so much easier to extend those bad boys before you get on the plane into another country. Yes, you can go to the U.S. Embassy here. Can't tell you anything about it. Haven't had that option yet, but maybe I'll make a video soon because it's coming. I renewed my driver's license to the maximum point where my state allowed. So I don't know if it varies, but mine was, I think, was 4 years versus the normal, what, 1 or 2. I think it's 2 that you normally do. I did it for 4 years. Uh, I did open up bank accounts and credit cards, which I definitely recommend with no international fees. So I had some credit cards and some checking accounts that were great for the United States, but they were horrible when you came to travel internationally. And so these bad boys, I ended up switching to Capital One is a good one. Well, at least it was, or as the time is video, but you can easily Google that. You want to find something for, a credit card. And then you want to go to a different bank that actually allows you to, no fees, because you're going to get, you don't want to get international fees. And so you want to knock that off. And so that will cover the last two. Now, I want to pause real quick. As you can see, these are blue lines, and yeah, I was playing with these the other day, so they actually, don't quite make sense. But what this is called a Gantt chart. And so this may not look as important right now, but when you get into the milestones of, when you're going to move the house, when you're going to sell your house. And so those things need to be like, okay, well, first I need to, list it. Sometime in there, I need to sell all the items in the house that I don't want. And you don't want to have confusion of, okay, what, getting your dates mixed up. What date was this? What date was that? And so a Gantt chart, and you could actually use, I'm using this because it's free, at least at the time of the video, but Microsoft, what is it? Project is a great solution. It's just, this is Bittrex. You can use this website Bittrex 24. Don't get paid for it. This is just what I use because I'm using a Mac, and I did not buy the Microsoft project. Let's jump back into this. So back to our scheduled program. And so the 90 days out, I had already made a plan. So we're going to sell the house. That's a huge milestone to sell your house. So that meant that, and these are all backdated. And this is actually kind of when I did it, even though these lines go out here, they're not, they were being played with, but the dates actually are here. Like, you got to do the title work, you got to do the final walkthrough, you got to do the inspection, you got to remember, fix all the stuff that's broken, and of course the appraisal and plug the walls and blah blah blah. There's some things that you want to do that you want to make sure that, hey, this is done on this, this is done before, this is done afterwards, and this comes in here. You want to be able to visually see it. So because the stress of moving to a country is bad enough, but to be trying to figure out, okay, did I do this? Oh, I forgot to do the hose. Oh, we're coming back through the second again. Now I got to reschedule with the inspection. Yeah, you don't want to be dealing that. 90 days out, and you honestly probably could do it before, but cancel all non-essential services. So cancel the gym that you haven't been into for the last, 5 weeks. I'm going to go. No, just cancel it. Just, you're not going to go. And so the end. Find another way. And so you're going to cancel the programs, the subscriptions you're not going to use. You don't need up to the last minute that you're not going to take to the Costa Rica. You're going to cancel, junk mail. Hey, forward it actually to the trash. Say, go to your post office and say, I don't want this anymore. Close it, stop it. And what I would recommend, and to get this out the way, what I did was and recommend is, if you got a family member or post office box, not post office box, because somebody's got to be there to get it. Unless you got a family member to go to your post office box, whatever it is, you can still use the post office box. You want to reroute all your mail to there, so somebody can be looking through. And again, only essential. So really, what it is, if, like I said, the credit cards, if they gave you something, you're going to select all the boxes saying, just email me. But if there's something that they won't let you email, then they have an address to go to. And that will be honestly your residential address that you're going to actually use, in the United States, because you're not giving up your status of being a United States citizen just because you're, in a long time, that's because you're working or potentially working on being a citizen in Costa Rica. But yeah, you want to definitely stop that. You want to buy a plane ticket. Reason why is because if you wait till last second, your prices are going to skyrocket. I actually like to use a tool, and I'll put that in the link as well, to look at prices. So Google has a thing where you can actually look at the prices, and it will actually tell you, hey, during this time, the typical price is, yeah. And so it'll give you an idea of, these are the prices, and maybe you shouldn't leave in December and January. And honestly, you probably shouldn't, not so because of the weather or whatever, but the prices are high unless you get your tickets early, and I'm assuming that you can probably still get a good deal. But if you're going to be in December and you're booking in December, yeah, your prices for airline alone are going to be, astronomically higher than what they should be. Uh, if you're going to, and I put shipping. Now, I took all my stuff on the plane for me, so that's what I meant by shipping. I do not recommend, again, I'm going to keep referencing my other material, is you're not trying to ship everything, especially when you're going to get established. So this video and my other videos are going to people in phase one, people who are looking, and I said phase one, people are looking to find their home base so that they can explore to figure out where they want to end up. Because it's not like the United States where you go buy a house, oh, you stay there 2 years, I don't like it, I can't sell it. No, where I'm selling it in 3 days. No, most places in Costa Rica, the market, the housing market is not like that. You go buy a place, you're going to be stuck with that bad boy for a very long time. You don't want to do that. The market doesn't move as fast. My owner in another place, and there's more than one example, but great house, American style, blah blah blah. But the the house sat on the market for more than a year, and he ended up renting it out. And so you don't want to do that. So you're not shipping too much because you're actually going to come first and see what you particularly need for your brand new lifestyle. And so I took some blenders. Actually, I got the blender on the second trip. I didn't even take it the first trip. I took some clothes, warm clothes. I took some, jackets just in case. Honestly, I would say take a jacket depending on where you're going to be at, because after you get acclimated to the weather, honestly, 70 degrees is cold to me. So I'm glad I brought a jacket. So I did take jacket. And I did take a one winter coat because if I needed to run back to the United States in the middle of winter, I didn't want to be butt naked in some shorts. So you want to determine shipping costs. And so most airlines will let you get, it really depends nowadays. Maybe maybe the first under package suitcase for free, and then you're paying incrementally higher for each one above. So those are the costs that I'm referring to. And of course, if you got more than one person in your party, including kids, yeah, just that package. Yeah, it's for me, but my son is going to be carried, so that counts for him. So you're going to do those things. Determine where you're going to live in Costa Rica. This is just a little bit more specific. By this time, you have an idea, of course, where you're going. You've talked to different people, and you're going to get your home base. And so you're taking a little bit as possible. What I did was, I tell you how little I took. I didn't take any furniture. Why? Because I was willing to pay the increased price to have somebody else's furniture. Why? I looked around. Later on, I end up buying some furniture for my next house that I was, wanted to get home base in. And so I did do that. And then I sold everything in the house that I did not need. If it was in the basement, if it's in your basement and you haven't seen it for 3 years, you probably don't need it. Take a picture of it. If it's sentimental, get rid of it. My recommendation. But honestly, people are going to do what they're going to do. Yes, there was some stuff that I did keep, to be quite honest. But yeah, I haven't seen it in 3 or 4 years. So honestly, probably should have sold it. I would not recommend getting what is those things, a storage unit in the United States, and you're not planning to come back anytime soon. Yeah, get rid of it. Give it to a family member, let them own it, loan it. Yes, there might be some unique instances where you want to, but you really need to actually think about that. I would not recommend, when you start your Costa Rican world, You want to be focused on Costa Rica, not be focused on United States and Costa Rica. So if you have stuff that you have to deal with, did I make the payment? Oh, a storm came. Oh, water damage came to the storage. Those are stuff that are in another country. So now you're forcing yourself to be mentally in two countries. Is everything okay? And am I just in one Costa Rica? And what happened in the United States that I really do need to care about? So those are the things you want to limit, especially if one of your reasons for moving to Costa Rica is stress. Um, Moving on down to the last 30 days. So these things should be getting very small. You don't want a lot of stress in your 30 days. So I left my car to sell because honestly, I was still working and I needed to get around. And yeah, I actually had two cars. And so we sold one of the cars. And so we're driving around one last car. And so I sold that. Um, this was so these were the last final things. So determine the what we want to ship because there were the last few items. So now we're talking about the last few items that was over and above because there was an adjustment. We started at one and then we needed to move. And then finally celebrate. You've moved, you got your ticket, you're on the plane, you've shipped over, you got all the stuff you need. It's time to celebrate. You get on the plane and you celebrate. The stress of moving is that phase of moving is over and you're on to your next part of your life. Yes, there is more to come with this video and another video, but this is how you move to Costa Rica in 6 months. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. I am glad you guys have watched it. Leave a comment below. If you have not subscribed to the channel, I want you to subscribe. I will be doing more videos, less techy as this, but I really wanted to give you guys some meat so that you can actually see it is possible to move in Costa Rica in 6 months. And the reason why I really do say 6 months is because if you start saying stuff like 2 years and you really don't have a date, for a reason for the date and you don't have a date, then that 2 years is going to be 3 years, 4 years next. It's like a New Year's resolution that you're really not going to work on. It's going to be one of those things that's going to die in February or die when you get distracted, or die when summer comes along and you forget about, oh, you really want to move. But those are the hours and minutes and days of your life that honestly you could have been doing what you want to do in a new country, having new experiences. And honestly, we're not getting any younger. So yes, I recommend coming to Costa Rica, enjoying and everything. And remember, you can always go back home if you don't like it. But at the same time, you can have experiences that you will not have had that you can share with your family and friends if you just take the leap. And so I will be talking more about how to take the leap and getting onto all the stuff in the future in my other videos. But I will see you on the other side.